I know I liked her at 17, and she didn't like the fact that we told her she had to go to school, and she and I weren't getting along. So she moved out of the house and moved in with her aunt. Well, we didn't talk. I mean, she didn't live with us for like 4 months. My husband, and he's like, so I knew it was all a bunch of BS anyway. So, um, begged him, please don't go over there. Don't do this. He's like, there's a judge's order. I'm like, no, if there, because he told me that there's a judge's order. Never did. Never did. So, anyway, he went up there and took his drug test, and I did not talk to Spalding County because they're out of their jurisdiction with me. And I'm only comfortable dealing with people that I've already dealt with before. So, um, then, Lamar County, the county I live in, comes down here and they're like, um, the last video, that was the first time she came out here. So, y'all, she is the head supervisor of the county that I live in, CPS, okay? She is like the head honcho up there and everything. And she tells me, she comes to my house, tells me, I'm here because y'all both failed a drug test for methamphetamines. No, I didn't fail a drug test because I've never taken a drug test for you or anybody. So, in any case, she makes my husband leave the house. So he cannot be around my kids without a third party present. So he is staying with his dad right now. And when she left, she told him that she was going to get a drug assessment, and that was the next step, that he needed to take a drug assessment so we could figure out where to go from then. And he was like, okay, cool. How long is it going to take for the drug assessment? Usually, anybody that I know or anybody that I've dealt with has only waited a couple of days max to see what was going on with the drug assessment. So we wait. So it's been like a week now, and he's been calling because he's a good dad and he wants to be with his kids. So he calls um, one time, and she's like, well, I've sent the paperwork. I've done everything that I need to do. So, if they don't call you by such and such a time, then you need to call me back and let me know. So they didn't call, so he called back, and she was like, well, I've already done all I'm supposed to do, da 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 da. So this goes on for like 3 times of him calling her. And so he calls her today, a week later, a week after she comes up to my house, and tells him, when he called her, she told him, I don't know what's going on. Your wife still has to take a drug test. She hasn't taken the drug test. You guys, come on now. I don't know if anybody is familiar with dealing with CPS, or, use your common sense, okay? If you are supposed to go, if you're being investigated by CPS and you're supposed to go have a drug test done, and they schedule it and you do not make it, what happens? They come out here, they get a judge's order, they try to snatch your kids from you, blah, 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 blah. So, hey, Zane. In any case, they come out here and try to snatch your kids and all this other crap. So, she's telling my husband that I haven't taken the drug test and she hasn't seen the drug test and this and that and the third. And then she told him, oh, well, you have to take another drug screen before the drug assessment. That's not true. That's not true. Okay? So, and then he's like, well, you never told me that I had to take another drug screen. When do I need to do it? We need to get this shit on the ball. We need to get moving. I'm ready to be back in the house with my kids. And then y'all, she is the head CPS lady. She is the main supervisor. Has the gall to tell my husband, I don't know which one comes first. I don't know if you have to do the drug assessment or the drug screen first. Okay, common sense tells you that you have to do the drug screen first. But in any case, this woman has lied so much it's ridiculous. I mean, like the corruption in CPS is just ridiculous, y'all. My mom sent me a link for this lady that was a Georgia senator. that was like speaking out against CPS, and she was like the coolest woman ever. She was, like exposing all the corruption and everything that was going on. And while she's in the midst of doing this, her and her husband are found dead in their house. And the cops ruled it as a suicide. Okay, I know that's kind of taking it a little deep, but really that's how far like the corruption from CPS, it's really terrible. Like you're paying for these people to take everybody's kids away from them. You're paying for it because when you work, they take your money, out for Social Security. Guess what? Guess who CPS is funded by? Social Security. So then every time a child gets adopted out or gets taken from their parents or whatever, the state gets a reimbursement from Social Security for. So it's like the more kids that they snatch up and put them into foster care or adopt them out or whatever, the more money the state makes off of it. So, I mean, it's really, and I didn't really realize, and I've been dealing with CPS my whole entire life. They took me away from my mom over me smoking pot. I mean, just ridiculous stuff. So I know firsthand what it's like in the state facilities. I know firsthand what it's like to deal with DFACS and CPS. I know what it's like. So, and I mean, it's just ridiculous. But like I said, I didn't realize until they came this time, and I got scared because I have marijuana in my system. Yes, I smoke a little bit of pot. When she was like, "Do you do drugs?" No, I don't do drugs. Pot's not a drug, y'all. I mean, come on, it's legal in how many states? It's decriminalized in my state. So, so I was sweating, and then I started watching all these people on YouTube and all these people online that have not done anything, that CPS has not proven anything about them neglecting or abusing their children. They have not, they have unfounded shit, and they are still taking these people's kids away, and it has taken years, y'all, to get these kids back, and it is absolutely horrendous. Like I said, I know firsthand what it's like to be a child in CPS custody. It is absolutely horrendous. I was never like physically abused. I was a very bad child, like not really bad. I was just very like headstrong, and I meant what I said, and I meant everything that I said, and they looked at me like I was like a horrible child. And eventually, y'all, CPS took me away from my mom. I ended up in a mental institution. Then I ended up in one foster home for like a week before I went back to court after getting out of YDC. I went back and forth to YDC a lot. And then after that, they put me in this group home with these people that were evil, y'all. These people were so evil. Like the woman would constantly tell me like how fat I was, and like, I mean, just the like most horrible emotional abuse that you could suffer. And like, I'm thinking no child deserves to be in this kind of position. I mean, it's horrible. Gorgeous. Hey, yes, I said that. In any case, it's absolutely horrendous what these people are doing to these kids, and they're not going to do it to mine. So we have a drug assessment. Like I said, the lady, I didn't tell y'all, the lady called me, I don't know, a few hours ago. I need you to meet me at the DFACS office because I need you to do a drug assessment. And I was like, no, you mean my husband? And she was like, no, I mean you and your husband. Okay, but I haven't got my drug test back. I haven't heard anything. The last video that I put on here was the lady coming out of my house. That was the last time I saw or heard anything from her. So tomorrow I'm going to go up there and I'm going to demand to see a drug test. And if they don't have a drug test there that I can see, then why am I having to do a drug assessment? It makes absolutely no sense. These people, and then, it's just, it really sickens me how that they're able to do this. There was a lady that I saw on here that CPS came in when her child was 15 months old. Okay. And he wasn't gaining weight. He was little. He was, he wasn't getting any bigger. So she kept taking him to the doctor. She took him to the doctor and took him to the doctor. She did what a good mother would do to make sure her child was safe and being taken care of. So CPS comes in when the child's 15 months old and tells the mother that she has Munchausen syndrome by proxy, and takes the child because they claim abuse because the child is so little. And then they want to tell everybody that they heavily rely on what the doctors say. No, they don't, because if they heavily relied on what the doctors said, then they would know, that they do. P.S. in a federal court, she wins $3.1 million for, I guess, like pain and suffering and, wrongful, all this and that. She still does not have her in family court. So like the family are like a totally different thing. It's like being on another planet, being in the court system with the family stuff. It's like, it takes for somebody to be put in prison for involves one witness, caseworker, who says and does what she wants to with no evidence, no nothing. An attorney for the children who, most of the time is just sitting there looking stupid. And, a couple of other people that are kind of insignificant. But it's pretty much the caseworker talking to the judge, telling allegations are, what, this and that. I mean, like, I watched one where this lady was like, the kids haven't been to school. They've missed this and this many days of school. They've done this. They've done that. This woman has absolutely no proof. She never once offers the judge a piece of paper, the kids missed school or whatever she was trying to prove. She one time had to pull out a house. And that is how fucked up our system is. Because, like I said, does my child look unhealthy or neglect any kind of way? No. My kids make straight A's in school, but I mean, who doesn't? But they make straight A's. They have no behavioral problems. What? February, I didn't get it February 13th, but it was post. I don't know. In any case, I got a letter. There have been, she's asleep. There have been allegations of child abuse or neglect. Okay. And then it goes on to say, we're sorry we messed with you, but there is no evidence or abused. So that my kids aren't concerned about it is, how can they sit there and send me that letter and still not let my husband come home? It makes, as I've said to most people, the reason I let that defects lady in my house the first time, and I knew he failed. Clearly, you can look at me. I am not a little girl. I am not small. I was adamant that I was, okay? No. So, do what? No. So, like I said, y'all, I just don't know how they can come into your house. Oh, yeah, but the only reason I let her into my house is because I knew he failed that drug test. And I knew if I said, no, you can't come in my house with him already failing that drug test, would have really screwed me over. Off my yard, off my porch, like crazy. So she calls me one day and she's like, hey, the police are on their way to your house with people in your house because the police are there. You do not have to let those people in your house. I don't care if the FBI have a court order. You do not have to let those people in your house, and the police will just stand by and let them talk. Because they're more powerful than the police. They're more powerful. No, they're not. They're powerful because people are scared and they give them power. They have none. I mean, they do have power. But speech therapy. That's, he doesn't talk right, which he does, but he is in speech therapy. But, they can say, well, and if you look at their pamphlet, at their little handbook, evidently being in speech therapy and, not being able to talk right, which, like I said, he can. It was just some other stuff that went on. But anyway, that is a form of neglect. So they could come in here and say something about Chevy being in speech therapy and take it before the judge, and it'd be neglect. I have never been so scared of these people, y'all. Never. Never have I. I mean, I've always been, like I said, they've came to my house so many times. They've never opened a case on me besides this time, but they have come to my house so many times. And, most of the time it was over my stepdaughter. Because she didn't want to do right. She didn't want to, she had diabetes and, they came out every time she missed the doctor's appointment. And that's, the county that wanted to, the county that wanted me to come up there where I said, no, I'm not going, you have no jurisdiction. She lives up there. And, they're telling me, oh, well, we can come do this and we can come do that. And telling, she told evidently, this is what my stepdaughter said. My stepdaughter called my husband one day before Lamar County DFACS came out to my house or anything and said, that Spalding County lady's been out to your house 3 times. Where have you been? No, she hadn't. I'm home. Always. Always at home. She never came to my house once. Y'all would not believe the mountains of lies that these people tell. Like I said in my first video where she came, I counted at least 10 lies. At least. When she said you've had at least 13 to 15 cases. I never had an open case on me. Where you tried to say that I said something that I didn't last time, that's BS too. Because the woman, except for to explain to her that I called her to explain to her I'm not going to Spalding County. That's the only time I ever spoke with this woman. That is it. And another part that y'all missed, because evidently my phone cut off and I don't know why. Lady, I love her. Parties with this lady, like I don't know her on a personal level, but I know her as a DFACS worker, and she's always been super cool to me. And so the lady's talking, like, hold on, I'll put you on speakerphone. So she puts her on speakerphone, and I'm like, hey, Miss Barkley, and she's like, I'm so disappointed in you. And I'm like, disappointed in me for what? Why the hell are you disappointed in me when that ain't nothing but a lie? It's a lie. So I thought that was super unprofessional anyway. But she did it. But like I said, y'all, it's somebody's got to do something about it. Somebody's got to, how much you need for a bodyguard. Because it is that serious, y'all. There are attorneys that get disbarred for fight CPS. There was this one lady that lady was like, hell no, I'm not signing that fight and everything. So all of a sudden, they snatched the DFACS. The DFACS workers snatched the attorney's kid. They take the attorney's kid, and then they take that woman that he was half her family's kids. Okay? They do shit like this, y'all. They're like the Illuminati. They're horrible, and they absolutely have way more power than they need to. And like I said, people are losing their kids forever over nothing. Over nothing. Like I said, they're getting surgery on the baby. So she took the child, she didn't take the child out of the hospital, AMA or anything like that. She just walked out, signed him out of the hospital and everything, and went straight to another hospital to get a second opinion. DFACS showed up. What? On, like a political level, like, there are people that are intimidated, not like, people like you and me. There are people that are like attorneys, that are judges, that are senators, that are, that are frightened of these people, like these. So, and just like, everybody that stood up to them, they're coming and snatching their kids up. So, thought about it, and I was like, man, I should get somebody that has no kids, then something could be done. Because what is CPS going to do to be done? Like I said, screen, which I don't believe they have a positive drug screen. The worker would have been out here. The supervisor would have been out here. She'd have called me. She'd have done something. She wouldn't have just like it took her to have my husband's assessment set up. You know, so I'm in big trouble because I do have an attorney. I have to pay him mega bucks. But it'll be worth it, I think. I really do. If he's the kind of attorney that's got some balls to go against them. Because they, like I said, they're trying to railroad me and my husband. They have been messing with me like my teenage years. They have been screwing me my whole life. And I watched a woman, I learned from a woman that has no fear, that has no chill in her. And like I said, and everybody needs to be more like that, y'all. Just because CPS comes to your door, or just because CPS comes to your door with police, that does not mean that you have to let these people in. It does not. They have to go get a judge's order. And everybody talks about warrant. Do you have a warrant? No, it's not a warrant. It is a judge's order that a judge signs to come into your house. So if they don't have that, because, and I'm not fearful for the parents. What about your children that will be tossed into the same situation that I was in? It's horrible. It's horrible. Like, you know, yeah, I lived in a nice house and, you know, emotional abuse. I got pregnant with my first baby. And like I said, those people were horrible to me. They were horrible to me. And they know they were. Y'all, there was this thing like when we went back to school, they had a point system. So whenever we started back school, they would like go by your points as to how much money you got to dress yourself to go to school. So I was always on 0, like always. My level never, it was like 0 to 5. Mom was always a 0, constantly, because I wouldn't call that bitch mom, or I wouldn't call that son of a bitch dad, or I was just very headstrong and very stubborn and would not do anything they wanted me to do. So I'm on level 0, y'all, and they give me like $30 to go to Tanger Outlet Mall and get all my clothes, all my socks, my shoes, my underwear, my shirts, my bras, everything. I had like 30 or 40 bucks. When my mom sat there and paid them hella child support every month that I was in there, they gave me 30 or 40 bucks to go school shopping with. The woman was telling me, like I said, I was fat. I mean, it's horrible. I will go to jail and I will happily sit there and my mom will get my children. If they try kids and put them in a situation like that, it will be very ugly because I will not care about anything then. Nothing. My children will never have to be exposed to that kind of bullshit. Never. My children are loved, very loved. Are you? Who loves you? Who else? Who else? Who else? Papa. My kids are loved and they're very well taken care of. They eat. They sleep. Like I said, they make good grades. They do everything that a normal kid their age would do. And I will never let them be subjected to what I was. Anyway, I will never let them be subjected to what I was. Anyways, y'all, my husband and you what, Zane? Oh yeah, that's right. And Zane loves you too. And Zane. He said and Zane. I'm going to tonight look up some more information as soon as I find my notebook because I run and the rules that they are breaking and everything in between. And we'll come on some more and make another video or go live or whatever. See what happens then. So, y'all have a good night. Mwah.